we did want to talk about money as well because, like all of these things that are blowing our mind, your life experiences, and I mentioned before, like the progression of somebody that called us a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and left a voicemail about should I go for buying a house? Should I think about buying an RV and just traveling around? And seeing a lot of those things come to fruition. I think we had you back on and maybe like we talked about you again in like episode 90 something. But yeah, like right, Jay, it was even hearing that episode and just knowing that you were making that decision and then thinking to myself, man, if I was 22, 23 years old, I never would have been in the position to make these
Mm-mm.
decisions.
No
And
way.
it was awesome.
So for the listeners who either don't remember or didn't hear it, do you remember what you asked back then or no?
It was something along the lines of, hey, I'm thinking about buying an RV. I have an opportunity to buy a relatively cheap RV. And Kelly my fiance, has a summers off. She's a teacher. She teaches fourth grade and I work online. And so I was thinking I saw an opportunity to do some traveling, throughout the summer specifically, but also there's a lot of where we live in Idaho, there's a ton of state and national parks around us. So it's not like in California where, you got to drive a ton, to get to a specific place. Like here, you hop on the interstate for 45 minutes and you're somewhere really, really cool, in the middle of nowhere. And so I saw that opportunity and I was like, man, I kind of want to do that. But the financial nerd in me said, it was $10,000, the RV I bought, and it ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. But at the time, $10,000, and as I've learned as I've progressed, we now have a travel trailer instead, and it's not just $10,000. I mean, it's house on wheels, and so you have to continuously throw money at that thing. And I was really nervous it was going to be a money pit, but it wasn't. And my question was, hey, should I buy this for $10,000 or should I save the money, save up for a house? I think at the time I said what my net worth was. And I was very like, I just don't know. Where you draw the line between living, life, like actually having a lot of fun versus staying very focused and, building wealth. And at the time I was very obsessed with the building wealth part. Like I kept thinking opportunity cost of money, blah, blah, blah. Like, I gotta keep investing, but I'm really glad I pulled the trigger. So very good call on you guys, because we've had some great trips and I've learned a lot. So
I'm pretty sure we told you to buy the RV and live a little.
you did, and that's what we did.
All right.
We lived a lot.
What was the ultimate decision why you chose not to buy the house? And then like tell us like one or two cool stories.
Who was on the
RV.
board? Who was on the board of directors?
I didn't have to go to the board of directors. I just looked over to the fiance and said, "Hey, what do you think?" That was my board of directors on that one. But I really just I just saw an opportunity, and it's no different than JJ probably seeing the opportunity of traveling with his family right now. The kids are at a certain age. He's at a certain stage with, Lindsay being able to work and all this stuff. It's like, it's a cool opportunity you may not get later in life.
For sure.
And so that's where I also found myself. I said, Kelly is a teacher. She works online, or she works throughout the year. Summer's off. I work online. I think we have an opportunity to go travel. We have no other responsibilities, and I make good money, and I have investments. I'm not just throwing everything in the towel for this. And that's where it ultimately decided to go through. We bought an old 1991 Gulfstream, Class CRV, 30 feet. It came with a whole lot of nightmares at the start. I was very overwhelmed, but some of the coolest places we did. I mean, we went down to Utah, a place called Jordanelle State Park. We were there for like a week and rented jet skis and boats and went fishing. We went to a bunch of different state parks here in Idaho. I had it for a year, started breaking down towards the end and just wasn't safe. So we got the travel trailer instead. But
so I mean, it was so good. It was so good. You got another one.
Yes, but the reason we got another one was we got this one because it was 10 grand. And if you're going to look for an RV these days, they're not 10 grand. I mean, they're, a lot of money. And if they're used, they come with, typically not an owner's manual, not somebody's walking you through how to use it your first time. So a lot of hesitations, but we bought it cheap. Like 10 grand is not a ton to have that. And I did that because I didn't know if we were going to fully like it. Like, are we going to have a time to use it? Is it worth, storing it? You got to pay for all this stuff. And we ended up loving it. And we again, because of our location. So we started having issues towards the end with like the brakes and the batteries, and it just started not becoming safe because it's a 30-year-old RV. And that's when I said, okay, well, we can look at potentially, I start making more money. We can look at potentially, getting a travel trailer, which is relatively cheap. So I sold my Civic, got a truck, sold RV, got a travel trailer, much more safe, much more reliable, much more practical. And that's what we did. And we do that part-time now. So
I love it. So now what's going on now? So you did the RV thing for, however long. First, real quick question. Travel trailer. Is that like a fifth wheel?
Yeah, sorry. So travel trailer is like a fifth wheel, but smaller. Okay. So for example, this is single axle. This is 2 wheels only.
Got it. Okay.
This isn't something you're going to find hooked up to the bed of your truck. It's hooked up to the little tow hitch on the back of your truck. That's what we tow. So it's very, very small. It's 18 feet.
Cool.
Has a slide.
Is that kind of like what an Airstream is?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a small version of an Airstream. Okay. Exactly. So it's nothing crazy. I mean, it's just us two again. So we didn't need anything big. So we went with something small. And the biggest thing for anybody that's looking to do an RV or the lifestyle that people sell is definitely not what it is. So I can tell you that right away from doing part-time. There's crazy stories. But, the difference is the Class C, bus that we had technically. Anytime we needed to go get gas or go to the grocery store or go to the marina to go fishing or whatever, you had to pack up your camp, unplug your electricity and drive.
Yeah.
You had to bring an extra car. But with a travel trailer, you park it, you unhitch, and then you drive across town, you go see things. And that was another huge selling point for us to ditch the RV and go to the travel trailer route because we weren't able to take the big bus, into a parking lot to go to the movies if we wanted to.
My buddy has a RV that he lives in, like one of those big like tour bus ones, and he tows his Jeep behind, and that's got to be crazy. And to shift gears, so